Hello and welcome to this overnight taste challenge. We have two 40% alcohol blended Scotch whiskeys, both under the ownership of Diageo. First one is White Horse, named after the White Horse Inn since it was opened in 1742, but this product did not hit the market till 1890. Aged 3 years. And they say the heart of the flavor with this is Lagavulin. Which is a expensive single malt Scotch from the Lagavulin distillery. Yeah, finally focused. That's what White Horse looks like. $38.99 for this handle. Now, Dimple is a little bit more expensive. This is age 15 years. The Dimple Pinch. It's called Dimple in Europe, but in the United States, it's called Dimple Pinch. Maybe in Canada too. Don't have too much left. It's got this wire around it so you could hold it if you're on a ship and it's rocking back and forth in bad weather. That's why they made it triangular shape so it wouldn't roll off the table. So apparently popular with merchant marine and everything, British Navy. It's produced by a company called Haig Distilling, John Haig and Sons, which is owned by Diageo today. It says Dimple blended Scotch whiskey consisting of over 30 malt and grain whiskeys is produced by Haig, Scotland's oldest surviving Scotch whiskey distiller. And it says on the bottle, Haig. Well, Dimple Pinch since 1893, but Haig goes back to 16. Can't remember. It says over 350 years. 1600s. Now it shows a bull with a crown on the top for King Charles III, King of Scotland. Whose grandmother was born in Scotland. Fine old original, blended and matured and bottled in Scotland. Okay. So a 3-year age versus a 15-year age shouldn't be much of a competition, right? It doesn't always work out that way. Okay, so back to what they're saying. Dimple was created by John Haig and Company in 1893. Since then, Dimple follows the same traditions established by its founders. Over 300 years of distilling and blending experience ensures the smooth, mellow taste of Dimple. Dimple's house was awarded 4 royal warrants, gold medals, and decorations for distilling and blending. They're not showing a royal warrant now. They must have not renewed it. Distilling and blending Scotch whiskies of exceptional quality. It was also appointed purveyor to the House of Lords. That means they get whiskey for the House of Lords and the kings of Spain and Denmark. Dimple offers an inviting flavor from the 15-year-old supreme quality malt and grain whiskeys, which results in a delightful, smooth flavored whiskey with notes of mango, mocha, and mixed nuts. Now remember, when it says 15-year-old, that means the youngest whiskey in the blend is 15 years. So it could have older ones. Explore our recipes. Find a world of popular, exciting serves featuring Dimple. The range. This brand's most renowned expression is Dimple 15-year-old, a fine blended Scotch whiskey best served in a tumbler glass with big pieces of crystal ice accompanied with fresh exotic fruits and mixed nuts. But it also offers other variants to suit more styles and tastes. But they don't list the variants, so that's not really very helpful, is it? Okay. Diageo also has White Horse, named after the White Horse Cellar Inn since 1742. Don't know if it's still there. Lagavulin Scotch, 1890, they created White Horse. Okay. Here's some of the whiskeys they've got. This is not all. This is not even close, but this is some of the whiskeys that they're showing on the website for Diageo. Buchanan's, Dimple, J&B, Johnny Walker, Grand Old Par. I think I've seen Grand Old Par. That's some of this blended. Single malts. Cardew, Kalila, Kleinelish, Dalwhinnie, Glen Kinchy, Craggamore, Haig Club, single grain whiskey, Lagavulin, Mortlock, Talisker, Singleton, Oban. So they'll keep you busy, won't they? Oh, we can't look at this all day. Let's go with the challenge. Gotta watch it because it pours out like a waterfall. Just even more free flowing than that. Should be enough. I didn't pay the full price for Dimple Pinch. Walmart had a deal on it, so I bought it. $15. Sure, why not? $15. But don't know why it was so cheap. Wasn't, I didn't sit there and ask them, why you got this price so low? Is it correct? And then when it was gone, it was gone in like 2 days, and then I never saw it again over there. I guess they were just trying to unload it. Still see it at Mathern's often. It's like $36 over there. But let's check the price of Total Wine. Should have enough for one more taste challenge with this stuff. Let's see. Total Wine and more. Oh, Pinch Dimple. It's really Dimple Pinch. Pinch Dimple. Pinch Scotch. Yep, $36. Same price as Mathern's. But you save money if you buy the big handle because that's $64.99. So you're getting a full-size bottle plus a liter extra, and you're not even paying double the price. But you're getting more than double the amount. So yeah, go ahead and get the handle if you buy it, if you want it. Okay. It says Pinch is known as the Dimple everywhere except the United States. Why did they change the name to Dimple Pinch here? They probably added Dimple because it could have been a trademark dispute. There might be some obscure whiskey somewhere in the United States called Pinch. Not exactly even, but close enough to where the weight won't matter. They're both amber. Appearance is amber. All right. It's like just bread dough, bread crust. Ain't a whole lot happening. Nothing bad, just not a whole lot happening. Same thing over here, maybe with a little more oak. I thought the Dimple Pinch was fine. It was kind of dull, you know. It's kind of like Chivas Regal 12. I'm like, you aged just 12 years. That's all you got from it. Oh, no complaints really, but it's just not. You would think it's going to be so exciting, but it's kind of blah. All right, let's go with the taste. Okay, on this, there's sugar water. Most whiskey tastes like sugar water to me. Wood, you know, oak, the bread. You say, oh, it's Scotch. It's too smoky, too peaty for me. Ugh, it's gross. Well, this is neither smoky nor peaty, okay? So forget that. That's you're tasting. I think what you're going to taste is what I'm tasting. Maybe vanilla, but I think these websites they make it seem more elaborate than it is. Or maybe I don't have the ability to pick up what they're talking about. But like I say, oak, bread crust, and sugar water. Is it 3-year age? Is it 15-year age? Same as the other one, bread crust, the oak, sugar water, but it's a little harsher, maybe bolder, maybe it has more flavor. I don't know. It's just more out there, out front. So I'm thinking it's aged less. That's why it's got a little bit of a bite to it, which I had not noticed before. So I think that is the White Horse. Now, would I really pay $36 for 15-year-old? And remember, there's different ones. I saw a 12-year somewhere once, so I can't remember where. But and there might be like a barrel proof or something, but you don't see them like they say on the website. I just read there's a bunch of variants, but the main one you're going to see is the 15-year age. Okay, that's the main one. There could be some White Horse variants, but they don't talk about it. Like it's like VAT 69 Scotch. They talk about VAT 69, but they don't mention the gold. Well, that's what we get in Louisiana, the gold, which is a lighter, supposed to be lighter, still 40%, but lighter tasting or something like that. Okay, so but anyway, $37, and it's age 15 years, and it's just kind of ho hum. Or I could pay $38.99, $39, so $37 for a 15-year age regular size bottle of a product that's kind of ho hum. Or I could pay $39 for a whole handle of a product that's kind of ho hum. Well, if I'm going to get something that's sort of ordinary, I just soon pay for the big bottle and pay less, or pay $2 more, but get 1,000 milliliters more. Get it? I pay $2 more, but I get an extra 1,000 milliliters. Anything wrong with these whiskeys? No, it's like a lot of whiskeys. There's nothing really wrong with them. They're just nothing. They're just regular. They're just kind of fine. Yeah, there's nothing offensive about it. I like vanilla. I like oak. You know, I eat oaks. But no, I like sugar water. Red crust, fine. It's great. Havana's great. You know, but it's fine. Do I ever run across any whiskeys that are like truly nasty? Not necessarily truly nasty, but they have nastiness with them. And those are usually the very cheap American blended whiskeys that I've got. $8.99 for a bottle, even, or sometimes $8.99 for a liter. Those can have some exotic flavors, and usually not exotic good, more like exotic bad. Those things from Heaven Hill that taste like honeydew melon. It's like, you know, the whiskey's not supposed to taste like honeydew melon, and they're bitey, bitey, bitey. They're not smooth. You just say, oh yeah, yeah. I don't need this in my life. And they're not, if you sit there and think about it longer, if they're not really bad like a D, they're probably more like a C plus, B minus, like marginally good in some ways, but you cannot think about them too much. You say, but nobody drinks those straight, neat, straight, neat. They buy them and mix them with Hawaiian Punch or store brand cola, Czech cola, or Great Value cola. Yeah, I know that's what they do. Um, but those are the ones that are kind of questionable, you know. Now, the one they have figured out a way to make them a little more palatable. What Sazerac started doing was adding natural flavor to it, and I guess Heaven Hill copied them, or they copied Heaven Hill. The Heaven Hill's starting to do that now with all their low end. It'll say a bourbon with natural flavors. Could be like vanilla or something. Then that's like, oh, that's not too bad, but it's still cheap as heck. You know, it's like super cheap, but it's not like what is this? You know, so you're not getting much, but then you didn't pay much. So a lot of these you did pay much, and you still didn't get too much. That's the issue. That's the where I take. If I pay $7.99 for a bottle of whiskey and it tastes kind of questionable or it ain't much there, well, that's what I paid. What do you expect? I pay you $7.99. When I'm paying $39.99 and it's just the same or barely better, then I'm starting to wonder what's going on around here. Okay. Same. It's the same. Except that this one is more pronounced, not smoothed out because it doesn't have the 15-year aging. It only has 3-year age. So it's a little rough, if you want to say a little rough around the edges, which might appeal to you because it might have more character. This one might be too dulled out. The Chivas Regal is so smooth, it's got nothing going for it. I gave it an A minus. I was like, well, it's excellent in some ways. And some people would appreciate that ultra smoothness, but it's like ultra blandness. That's the way I described it. And that ain't no $9 bottle either. Okay. So the winner, I'm going to say, is the I'm going to say it's the White Horse, not because it's really tastes better. It's because it's only $2 more, but you get 1,000 extra milliliters. So you take on its own taste merits. I would call it inconclusive. Decision inconclusive. Or you say you mean a tie? Yeah. But guess what? This is a little strange. That was the White Horse. The one that was smoother was the White Horse. So the the Dimple Pinch had the more bold kind of, I've said less refined flavors, but it is the Dimple Pinch. Well, even worse, worse than I thought. But like I told somebody yesterday, he didn't respond. He may never respond. He might have taken it like an insult, but it wasn't. He was got a big whiskey channel. He probably doesn't have time to talk to some little menial, low life, not low life, but low prominence person like me. Some of those guys are like that. It's like they don't have time to talk to viewers, these tramps. But he and I don't know him that well, but I'm not sure what his angle is. But he was saying, I'm going to do and maybe he'll respond later and be very kind, and it won't be like off put or defensive or anything, because I'm not meaning it to be an attack or aggressive toward him. He did Buffalo Trace versus Eagle Rare, both from the same distillery, Buffalo Trace Distillery. So he did the standard Buffalo Trace, which runs about $24. Eagle Rare, now that's 36. I saw that Friday, $36.99. Thursday, $36.99. So you're looking at about a $13 difference. and he was saying he's from England. He was saying, well, they're close, and they're closer than I thought. But he said Eagle Rare is still better, and I knew it would be better, and so forth. And I said, well, what you really need to do is do a blind taste test to prove it. Not I'm pouring Eagle Rare here, or I'm pouring Buffalo Trace here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm pouring Eagle Rare here, and I'm looking at it, and then I'm smelling it, tasting, and making a decision, because you know which is which. And you're saying, oh, I know this is better. I know this is better. But wait a minute. Do you really know that, or you just think you know that? See, you got to do it blind, where you don't really know. Then we'll find out if it's really better or worse. Of course, that's taking a big risk, because then what if you get it wrong? Now if you get it wrong, you're saying, I don't even really know. Obviously, I don't really know which is better. So that I believe, this is what I think. I think it's really the case that a lot of times you don't really know. You think you do, but you don't really. So I think everybody who does beer reviews, wine reviews, liquor reviews, they need to do it blind. Now, these ones where they got 4 different beers or whiskeys and they trying all of them, 4 different ones now. This is good. That's kind of good blood, and I'm ranking them. That doesn't accomplish much. It's too many variables. It's too many beers or too many whiskeys or rum, whatever you're doing. And it gets too confused. It's too many. It's too busy. And I can barely stand to watch those. And I've done that before. I just tasted 4, and then I quickly gave that up because I realized it was not good. So they really need to drop that. They could make a tournament. That's not hard to do. A tournament where you got, okay, you say, well, I want to do 4. Okay, we do A versus B and C versus D. And then you make sure you do the round robin where everybody faces everybody. And you want to keep notes or keep a record, go ahead. And then you find out who's the best. But it's got to be blind. It's got to be a blind taste test, or it doesn't really prove much, I think. I say that with beer all the time. People will tell me, I know my Bud Light. I'll never get it confused. I say, well, you don't really know that. You're just saying it because you dedicated to it. And in a blind taste test, you probably get it wrong half the time. And they say, oh, no. And I'm saying, oh, yes. Because you got these products, they're so similar. It's like these 2 scotches. They're so similar. And they tend to be that way. I'm not talking about a smoky Isla versus a bready Space Eye. Common sense, they're not going to be the same. But you get ones within their realm, their own subdivision. And I'm just telling you, say you calling everybody out. I am calling them out, not that they'll pay any mind to me, but I'm calling them out because I think they should do it blind. I'm going to say that forever. You got to do the blind taste challenge. Then we're going to see, can you really tell them apart? Otherwise, hasn't proved anything. That's why Pepsi did the blind taste test with Pepsi versus Coke. There were flaws in that, though. People generally preferred Pepsi. But some other people did a deeper study, and they said, yeah, but that was true only with the initial tasting, though. When they tasted them, they say, oh, Pepsi's better. This is in the 1970s when they both were using real sugar. But they said there were some variables they didn't bother mentioning, such as, what about extended tasting? Tasting over through the whole can or bottle. Now, as they continued to sip in the blind test, now this other company did the staging, they found that the people's appreciation of Coke increased and their appreciation of Pepsi decreased, that they preferred the Coca-Cola over the Pepsi most every time if it was extended tasting, not just an initial taste, which I thought was important. Now with these, there's a little problem. I'm not going to sit there and just keep drinking through the bottle, and because you got an alcohol factor here that's a problem. You can only do the tasting if you want to be coherent. With a soft drink, not a hard drink, but a soft drink, yeah, you could drink the whole bottle or can. Not that I would want to drink 2 bottles of soft drink one after the other, no. But I'm not part of an experiment. But I'm bringing that up, as I, 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 an example of why you want to consider. You have to consider all the variables. Or you can this camera doesn't focus too well. Are you going to run into trouble or potential trouble? Probable trouble. All right, so the winner today, I couldn't even tell it apart from the expensive one, is the White Horse. Is it a great product? Well, I mean, I guess it's great in its own little simplistic way. All right, well, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.